Put the kids to bed. Dad's home. We are the DWO podcast representing the Dad World Order. I am the handsome head of household, Mr. Magnificent, Mike Martin. With me, as always, my dad team partner, Big Rig, Eric Meffy.
What up?
And rounding us out, our third, the wrestling t-shirt guy, Mr. Cephas.
What up, y'all?
I need a.
We need to get a soundbite for you.
All right, what up, y'all?
I think we need to get like Will Sasso as Kenny Rogers, like one of those bits.
Hi, I'm Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, that one.
That's perfect.
I say
Kenny
that
Rogers,
once a week.
This
Guaranteed.
is a dairy chug. That'd be the greatest thing ever. Well, yeah, as Mr. Magnificent said, we are the DWO podcast with another How the Heck Are Ya? And, of course, the most important question for our illustrious guest here, Mr. Matthew Palmer, the Pro Wrestling Monster Hunter. Sir, how the heck are you?
I'm okay. I feel kind of silly for throwing out the Kenny Rogers line as the first thing I had to say, but damn it, I do say it once a week. It's like, hi, I'm Kenny Rogers, and I want a glass of milk, and my wife just gets pissed off.
That's the best. Like that.
Yeah.
That's the embodiment of this podcast is just ridiculousness on so many levels. So.
Oh yeah.
That was place, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. I've said it before that Cephas is like our resident, like Will Sasso, Kenny Rogers character, and he just, I'm Kenny Rogers, and this is a dairy chug. You know, that just reminds me every time I see him.
In just 10 more years, you'll be wrestling Bret Hart.
That's right. That is right.
All that same career path would be awesome.
You know, it'd be great for me, but
if
I'm wrestling Bret in 10 years, he should probably not do that.
Hey, I think you got a chance. I think you can take him.
Put you in the figure four and go, damn you, Bill Goldberg.
Oh, no.
So, Mike, you have a follow-up?
Do what?
Hit him with the follow-up question.
Oh, sir. As we ask all of our guests, a very important question to us dads personally is, where do you keep your thermostat at?
My thermostat stays, okay, if it's in the bedroom, it stays at 65 degrees.
Oh.
Guys, I am a furnace. It has to be cold. But the rest of the house stays at 70 degrees. I've tried to get it lower, but you know, the wife wears the pants in the family, so it stays at 70 because she's cold at night in the 65-degree room. So there you go.
I get it in the bedroom. I mean, that makes sense. I'd rather be cool in the bedroom, but 70 is certainly acceptable.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. That thing
Good
goes
job,
to
you
66, though. I'm sweating in the bed. Like I'm sleeping on the couch or something because it's awful.
Well, yeah, I'm a big utilizer of the box fan along with the AC. It's a necessity because I'm the same as you. I am a walking furnace, so I get it.
And I'm in Texas. It's like it's hot all the time.
Yeah, it's always hot. Yeah.
Whereabouts in Texas?
Dallas area.
Okay.
Yeah, not too far from the Cowboy Stadium. He's southerner.
My in-laws lived in Plano for a while. We visited out there.
Oh, nice. Well, Texas sucks all the way through. I gotta say that though. It's just hot plains everywhere. It's just
dry, no shade heat.
Hot.
Constant.
Yeah, I have said this. I visited Texas one time, and it was to help a friend of mine move down there because she's a journalist and she would like move all over the country. So we, as a group of friends, would help her move, and it was, you know, an excuse to take a mini vacation. We were in our 20s, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And we moved her to this little place. It was like I would say it was like an hour over the Oklahoma border, and I can't even remember the name of it. But I remember getting out of the truck and just being like, oh my freaking God. Like, what is this heat? Like, I thought I had felt heat before, and I was just like, oh, like,
yeah. It's Groundhog's Day. Why is it 97 degrees?
Yes.
What the hell is going on?
Oh, makes no sense.
It's terrible, but I love it in its own way.
Yeah, absolutely. You get sentimental to it after a while, I'm sure.
Of course. I can't live anywhere else. It's too cold.
Right. So that actually is kind of, we can segue into that because I believe you have your own promotion down there.
I do.
Correct?
I do. So there was this little wrestling promotion called Metroplex Wrestling that existed as a backyard like 15 years ago, and these guys just through like sheer will and determination have like slowly risen to a more prominent show. But they lost their chance to get a building. The guy who owned it had a couple of kids, and he's just tired. He's just gray hair is falling out. He's like, I just want to do anything else. So Athena and I bought it with another couple, and we've just been running it with our training facility. We consider it a school that has a show attached to it, but it's a weekly show. And
Okay.
we run on Christmas. Apparently people keep showing up. I keep trying to take the day off, but like they run every week. They tried to run against WrestleMania. The other owners were like, "Yeah, we can't take off." And I was like, "The fuck, we can't? What are you talking about?
Amazon?
It's a wrestling Christmas. I'm not the one here." So yeah, it's a weekly wrestling show. We took over about this time last year. We run training about 3-4 days a week out of there. Sometimes we have guest classes with like just somewhat famous people she knows, and then they just teach a bunch of stuff. And then every Saturday we beat each other up for a few bucks. It's it's the life.
Life, man.
You know, it doesn't
life.
sound like a bad problem to have. You know,
No, I'm enjoying it. Tired of getting beat up, but I'm enjoying it.
No, actually, that's the second time I've used that phrase in like 48 hours because I was messaging with. I got my merch today from Gringo Loco.
Nice.
I purchased some merch from him, and he was like, he ended up messaging me and saying like, "Hey man, are you cool with an XL shirt?" Because I ordered a 2XL, and I was like, "Yeah." I mean, did you run out of 2XL? He's like, "Man, Atlantic City cleaned me out," and I'm like, "I mean, it's not a bad problem to have."
No,
Like,
not at all.
Oh, you sold out of your merch. Whoa, is me.
Yeah.
But no, it was funny. But good for him. So you guys are running a weekly show. Do you guys like put it on YouTube or anything like that?
So we had a little network, but right now we're on Twitch. So we go if you go to twitch.tv/Metroplex Wrestling, you can see the weekly product.
Consider me following.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, that's super cool, man. We actually have a similar which I don't know. Does Cephas, you would know this better than I did. FGW, they don't do like training and stuff, do they? They just do the
Absolutely,
weekly.
they do training. Jay West does training every week out there. They're actually getting ready. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's going to be a pretty neat announcement about where they're going to be located here soon. Because as we know,
awesome.
They just lost their building. Their building sold from underneath them, essentially the one they were renting. But there is one in the future coming, so they will be back in weekly action soon. So that's
those shows are just so much fun to go to, on a weekly basis. Because I mean, you can do that. You can have little storylines and everything like that. And
I think that's what a lot of these shows, like for the most part, major shows that we all see on the indie level. It's like once every 6 weeks, 8 weeks at that. And it's like, like you guys are phenomenal. It's exceptional product. Can you do it 4 more times this week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was like, what are we actually training for? What are we getting ready for? And then it's like, you're great wrestling 4 times this year. Can you do it weekly? Can you do it monthly? You know what I mean? Like there's a schedule these guys got to like really work. And having these young students start off in a weekly show, it's like, go make mistakes, go screw up here, so that when you get to those progress or the revolvers and stuff like that, and you're wrestling once every quarter or something like that, making a good amount of money. It's exceptional work. You're healthy. You can do all the fun stuff that you can't do if you're grinding it out 300 days a year.
Anyway, I mean, just like anything, just getting reps in. You know, you gotta. It's there's a lot of things you would call a perishable skill, and I'm sure, like, if you do wrestling training for 8 months or whatever it is, and then you don't do it for another 8 months, like, are you really going to remember everything?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you got guys who are a couple years in, and they're chef's kiss. They're phenomenal. But then they got to wrestle twice that month, and then they're garbage. So like their body can't hang. And I was like, "What are you doing? Are you fighting for real? Like, why are you exhausted?" It's like, why are you so beat up?
Are you not pulling your punches? We talked about this.
It's like, are they just kicking the shit out of you? Like, what is going on?
Well, that's awesome, man. I love to hear that. Like I said, we have our own kind of local promotion up here that does something similar. So knowing that that's also going on elsewhere is really cool. Awesome. I would love to get down to Texas for a show because I know that there's at least a couple of promotions down there I want to check out. My daughter is the biggest Thunder Rosa fan on earth, so we want to go to a Mission Pro show. At some
Rosa's
point.
Good people. I like Rosa.
Yeah, she's awesome, man. I cannot. I mean, I've said this how many times now, Mike? People are probably getting sick of it. I cannot say enough good things about that woman.
I see it, so I don't get tired of it because it is pretty cool. I see I'm secondhand witness to it. So
right, yeah, like she is just such a genuine soul in this world, and the amount of energy that she puts into every facet of her life is just astounding to me. So
dude, I had a tag match with her years ago, and I didn't really know her too well at the time, but I still remember just talking to her. She's like, "What are we gonna do?" I was like, "I don't know. No one paid to see me. What do you want to do?"
Like, they're here for you.
Yeah, what do you want? You want me to take some heat for you? Whatever. I'll just tag you. Go in there. We'll have a nice dinner afterwards. What the fuck?
Yeah, like you're the hot tag. Let me go get beat up, and I'll get you in.
Asking me what we're gonna do. I didn't even have the Monster Hunter outfit. I had regular indie guy outfit. Like, what are you doing? Come on.
generic indie guy number 4. Yeah.
I'm here to take that big dude's finisher and you pin her. That's all we're doing.
I don't know, man. I'd pay to see you, man. Like I said, I just found out about you a couple of days before the show. I hadn't been hip to you, and they told me that you'd done some work with Revolver and some other stuff. So I looked up some of your work, man. You are captivating, man.
Thank you.
You have it, man. Like that. There's not been one thing I turned on that I wasn't like, well, what, you are entertaining is the best way to say it, I guess.
Thank you. I try.
It seems to be right in par with what, you say Wrestling Revolver. It's like everybody that's been on those cards at Wrestling Revolver has been just phenomenal. So I'd say you fit the bill there also.
Thank you. That's a lot of Callahan, man. That's Sammy. When I go to Revolver, it feels like a vacation. And that was even before I did the Monster Hunter gimmick, and I was just generic bad guy with a leather vest just cheating constantly. It was like I just show up and it was awesome. Like, I rarely go to work where 1,000 people are just screaming for nothing. I didn't do anything. I just walk out and they're like, "Yay!" or "Boo!" and I'm just like, "Hell yeah, cool!" I can't even hear my music.
So wait, hold on.
Do a backflip.
Were you? Is Damian Chambers Matthew Palmer 2.0? Like, is that?
Oh yeah. And they won't. I go to dinner with these guys, and it's like, this motherfucker right here is copying me. And Sammy's like, "No, he's not. No." He just was like, "Shut the fuck up, Sammy." That guy's no. Damian's awesome. Damian's awesome. He actually works. I did the cheap thing where I did Eddie Guerrero, but less charming, more of a bitch. And so, and so I would get away with just getting my ass kicked and then somehow getting out of the match by not doing a single offensive move.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how you get over with the best wrestlers in the world is don't give them any fucking wrestling, like, at all. So that was my shit. Damien actually goes out there and goes to work for a living. Like, he does a good job. He
actually works our local indie here. Damien Chambers. He's worked the FGW we were just talking about. I popped him not too long ago because I love to really mess with the wrestler sometimes, and I called him a bitch, And he stopped in the middle of the match. He's like, I'm not a bitch.
That dude's going to go somewhere one day, man. That guy's got a good head on his shoulders. And he's like, his private life, like business-wise, because he's got like a whole separate like business thing going. It's like, it's quality. It's quality.
Awesome.
It's like, you're going to be taken care of, buddy.
Yeah, he. I think the first time I witnessed Damian Chambers, it was at a Revolver show, and he was literally just there to talk a bunch of shit while Mox was in the ring, and then Mox gave him the biggest Death Rider I've ever seen him give anybody, and he took it, sold it like a champ, and that was it. That was his whole thing.
Did you see the next one where he fell off the stage?
No.
Was that in Iowa?
I want to say yes because I don't really go to the Dayton shows.
You should.
But it was just
You should, sir.
Hey, I agree, but you tell Callahan. He doesn't. He saves me.
I'll tell him.
I don't know.
When we walked through the line,
You tell that son of a bitch.
I'm like, you know what this show needs? A monster hunter.
It needs a really eccentric guy that's not going to do any offensive moves.
You got Fulton over here. You got Fulton over here being Mr. Monster. Like, come on, what are we doing?
I don't know. Maybe they're building up for something in the future.
Fulton would be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I remember the last time we worked together, he threw me out of the ring to like a cutter from Jake Chris, and I got to have the most fun improv in the moment. Like they lifted me up, and they're like, I don't know what their gesture is, like thumbs up, thumbs down, something like that. And I was like, no, and I had the little clip, like somebody in the third row filming me, just screaming like a child as I'm getting launched in the air. And I don't care about the move. I care about the fact that my projection worked, and they were able to pick me up way back there. Yeah. And I was like, I forgot him. I was so happy. I don't care about the moves. I care about the dumb audio in between the moves.
Right, absolutely.
That's one of my favorite things. I love when wrestlers do that. Kevin Owens was always really good about that. He'll be like, you get hit or something, he'll just go, ow! And you just don't hear anybody say, really ever say that.
You're paying a premium rate to sit closer. So the performer's got to give you, like, oh no, you hit them closer. You get to see the sweat fly off. That's great. So you can see it on the HD camera as well at home, sitting on your ass for free. But if you go live, you get to hear all that cool stuff. You get to hear them talking shit just loud enough for you to hear it, to hide the calls and stuff like that. It's a blast. It's awesome. Yeah. Live theater's the best.
It really is, man. That's exactly what I love the most. But I think that's what captivates me about you is you take you notice when people take those little extras. Like, for example, there's a local talent here named Carson Drake. And we went and saw him on Mother's Day, right? We saw him on the Mother's Day match. And I just brought a sign that said, Carson doesn't call his parents, right? And he turned around and he took that sign and he pretended to call his mom in the ring, and she hung up on him. And, like, he made it so, you know what I mean? And the fact that the wrestlers that take the time to work the crowd in that way really stand out to me, and I noticed that that's something that you do.
Oh yeah, I was a stage performer for a few years before I became a pro wrestler, and it helped me immensely. I will not stop. It has helped me immensely, and so I'm so used to just doing improv and hearing people like the child just yelling us out.
She's yelling at my dog.
Yeah, awesome. just carrying on with it. So many of these guys, they get so used to the choreography and hitting these things perfect. And it's like one day it just clicks in your head. It's like, oh, this is like dancing. I don't need to memorize the moves. I know the fucking tango. Let's fucking, so now you're just talking, you're dipping. It's like, what are we eating for dinner tonight? Here's a pile driver, kick out at 1. But, it's just like, it's a blast. Like, I mean, experience, that comes with experience, of course.
Right.
But there's a lot of these young guys that just, they're not even talking about the match, dude. Some of these guys are just introducing themselves for the first time in the ring. Hey, what's up? I'm Matt. Hey, I'm Mike. That's good to meet you. Anyway, tackle drop down. And it's incredible the way that wrestling is just improv dancing. Like, it's painful, of course, obviously. People get hurt all the time. But that's it. That's it. If you're not a bitch, you could do it. Because it's just dancing and improv. That's it. Anyway. And
I think one of the biggest things you just said there was the improv, because there is a lot of like yes and stuff. Like, you just got to go with it. You cannot like you balk on something, like that's when botches happen and moves don't look right, whatever.
Yeah.
So when everybody can kind of yes and through the entire match, it looks seamless and it's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Like that's it. That's wrestling. That's what the old timers were like. We'll call it in the ring. It's like, yeah, you jocks stumbled upon improv. That's all you guys did.
And you can see the people that are better at, some people are, you can almost see them thinking sometimes, and some people it just comes naturally, and that flow is way smoother.
Right.
Oh yeah. If you can find like a big dude that just kind of flows, the amount of money you're gonna see. I hate being a wrestling promoter now. I'm just constantly like seeing a 6'4" dude going, "Hey, you're really athletic. Hold on a second. You want to learn how to wrestle?"
I keep trying to give Big Rig a push.
Do it, Big Rig.
I'm debating. We'll put it that way.
He's
just
not
saying,
quite
he's got
like
two
a whole
really
lot of
good
dudes.
managers,
Just do it.
So we've actually brainstormed this the other night. If I do end up doing it, I'm gonna have yin and yang managers. I'm gonna have Mike, who's Mr. Suave, Mr. Magnificent, Mr. Nice and Neat, and then like if I ever do any hardcore deathmatch stuff, I got this guy. It makes sense.
Don't do the hardcore deathmatch. Don't do it.
I mean, I would never. But you know what I mean? Like if I'm doing a hardcore match, like, oh, I hit somebody with a chair, he's my manager.
There you go. There you go.
I've seen enough deathmatch to know that I have absolutely zero desire to do that.
Yeah, same. I did like a pseudo deathmatch one time with Masada, and it was fine. But then I saw like the rest of the death matches, and guys, I've already called myself a bitch like 3 times in here. If I can say for the 4th time that I'm a little bitch and I don't want to get any cuts, any wires, any glass, I'm good. I'll just anything else. Pile drive me.
Too many horror stories, man. Some of those Dark Side of the Rings and Nick Gage matches.
Oh yeah, well look, there's that, but there's also just the simple fact that it's like I'm already getting hit. Do you have to cut me too? I mean, come on. It's like, guys, we gotta do this a few more times.
Do you really need to bust this fluorescent light tube in my mouth? Like, is that necessary?
Yeah, it's like, can I just? There you go. Is this what you need? Do you need a little blood? Here you go.
Speaking of bleeding, somebody on Facebook today posted, saw John Moxley at Target in Newport. First person commented, "Was he bleeding?"
Immediately. He was in the hygiene section just checking out razors. This one right here. This will work.
The wind blows the wrong way. It probably breaks open that scar tissue.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you gotta imagine those old timers that have like just like the trenches in their head, like the Abdullah the Butcher. It's like
Butcher.
What's gonna be our generation's Abdullah Butcher? Because back then they were just like, screw it, I don't care about my life. Now we have all like the little nicks and pokes in the hairline. We're just gonna have male pattern baldness wrestlers where it just gets further and further back.
And that's the thing. Tissue. They definitely, like before it was like you said, it was all up here, but now it's like, no, you got to get it like right at the hairline.
Yeah, because we got photo shoots tomorrow. We got Mattel wants a photo shoot. I can't just have fucking Devon Dudley across the face. I gotta go up here now.
Devon Dudley.
That's fantastic.
Yes, I love it. So I actually, I was just thinking about this. I actually discovered you through watching your wife, which I guess it's you and your wife's Twitch channel. You guys would.
Oh, it's hers. It's hers. Okay. I get to hang out.
Well, you guys were both on there together, and it was very enjoyable to watch. And then through getting to know our mutual friend Roland, he would post videos from Revolver and stuff, and I was like, hey, I recognize that guy. And then it just kind of went from there. So it was kind of a fun way of finding out about you.
Well, hell yeah! I've had a couple people learn who I was through the Twitch stream, and then having them see me in the full makeup and garb getting beat up. It's like, oh, that's incredible. That guy has a little bit of talent. I didn't know that. And I was like, it's pretty cool. Like,
not just her husband.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely am just her husband. Like anytime we had, I did extra work one time for one of the companies years ago, and it was basically just, that's her husband. It's like, no, I'm here I can work too, guys. I can.
Yeah.
guys.
I'm just as tall as him. Put me on the show. Come on.
Right.
I get beat up. Throw
I
me
have
around
experience.
backstage. Come on, Ryback, feed me cake or something.
Feed me
Come on.
I was gonna make that joke earlier when you were like, my wife wears the pants around here. I'm like, I mean, if she's carrying that title around, I mean, yeah, I'd be doing whatever she says too.
Shit, I don't want to take her elbows.
Right.
I saw her knock out that one. I saw her knock out one person on AEW and not AEW, sorry, ROH, and it's taped. So she was sitting next to me as we were watching it, and I go, if you ever accidentally hit me that hard, I'm leaving you. And she was like, I didn't even hurt her. I was like, bullshit.
She's just really good at selling.
She's phenomenal. She's phenomenal. Yeah. She's got like 18 years of experience. She's one of the best, I think. And I'm gloating here because I am married, but like honestly, if you look back at it, I think Athena is one of the best women's wrestlers to have ever lived. Yeah. Like you can make an argument about like, oh, but this person sells more tickets, this person does this. Great. They're all great. The Rock makes more money than Daniel Day-Lewis, but the motherfucker is not better than Daniel Day-Lewis. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you go back and look at her work where it's not just flash and flare and pyro and a robe and this and that.
The first time I got to watch her live was I saw her at two separate Warrior wrestling shows, one in Indianapolis and one in South Bend. And also I want to retroactively thank you through this because she was the absolute sweetest to my daughter, even though my daughter was adorned in Thunder Rosa face paint. And she was wrestling her both of those nights, I believe. Yeah. She was just the absolute best. And even at Squared Circle, we saw her up there and she even like remembered her and was like, hey, let me introduce you to Mickie James and Willow. And like, she was just, she was awesome.
She's a sweetheart. She goes out of her way for kids because she remembers being a little kid at the shows. She doesn't usually go out of the way for the adults. I'll go ahead and give her that one. She's like, I'm busy. But
I don't blame her there. No, she definitely is also, and that's the other thing. Like that's what like made me fall in love with these indie shows and retroactively with AEW. The fact that I get to see these people that I see on national television at a KSC hall in Indianapolis with 200 other people and watch them tear the freaking house down. Like, it's unreal. And so I actually had never seen your wife wrestle out of WWE until she came to the Indies and AEW.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
Once I saw that, I was like, wow. Like, they had some handcuffs. They had some, hey, let's dilute the shit out of this because, oh, my God.
Well, yeah, I don't want to speak ill of the company because, like, it changed our lives. It was such a wonderful...
No, and I'm not saying that. It just definitely is like, she was in a box there.
You can see where it's such a drastic change. Like, this is more inclined to, like, a Vegas show, like Cirque du Soleil. Like, you get a cool different variety act. You get the juggle and you get to do this. But we don't realize that the juggler's a trained opera singer who can also bench press 500 pounds and this and this and this. He's got the one thing he can do because I got to fill this long-ass show with a variety act. So when you can just take that away and you realize, oh, right, Athena's been wrestling 10 years longer than the other people on the roster. She trained half of them. She actually, when she learned to bump, she bumped on concrete. She didn't bump in a ring. She learned how to bump through somebody trained from this like 1960s era. Like she is fucking blood sport level trained. Like she's toughest. Like she doesn't have those traps in the muscular legs for nothing. Like she is trained to fight and really wrestle. And so like, so when you see her,
she's got one of my favorite finishers ever too. So. I know we're getting off on a tangent talking about your wife, but
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I just had to just bask in that for a minute because
you wonder why they keep thinking I'm just her husband.
We asked you to be on our show, so let's talk about your wife.
Yeah. That's a job of a good husband, though. Is that you should be her biggest cheerleader.
That's right. There's a podcast about that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
The O-Face, the Eclipse, the O-Face. So that was invented by my former tag partner, and our former roommate, Gigolo James Johnson.
That's
When
a cool
she
name.
was first, Gigolo James Johnson, and spelled like JIGG-LO. And so, like his, so like,
Little pizzazz on it.
I guess I don't know. He was like my size, 5 foot nothing, pale skin, just little chubby guy, but he was incredible. And he used to just fly in the air for the O-face. So he taught Athena how to do it, but she could only do it off the second rope at the time. And so it was before she went to WWE, she was starting to really kind of master it to the point where they wouldn't allow top rope moves for her at a tryout until people had to say, like, no, you have to see this move. And they're like, okay, we'll allow it, but don't tell anyone else. And so she does it, but she's doing it having learned the move a year ago and moved to the top rope probably 3 months prior. And so this is like her 4th or 5th tryout, you know. She's been around the block a couple of times with WWE. So when she finally hits it, the place just loses her mind, and she's like, got it. Just like, like Triple H comes out of the office, like, what was that? And it was like, yeah.
Immediately gets the finger point photo, like
immediately.
Yeah.
If I was
Here,
him, I would
do the move again. I'm going to point at you while you do it.
I would have a green screen in the entranceway of my office to just walk in and turn and just point to a random person. It's like, hey, just send that into the editor. Just put it in. Whoever gets signed next. Just... All right, back to me.
Yeah, back to you.
I am
Let's
the pro
talk
wrestling
about
monster. Yeah, let's talk about me. What do we got?
Assuming that you are a pretty big fan of the Witcher video game, what did you think of the show?
I thought the show was fine. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things different than the short stories in the game,
Right.
but I think it's fine. Like, I don't want to participate in an entertainment medium that's different than another one and then watch the same thing.
Right.
Great.
So I think a lot of people, they get upset because, it didn't match the source material. It's like, dude, you got 2 different stories out of these characters. Enjoy them. Like, what do you? The only thing I get upset about is like Game of Thrones on that. But The Witcher, I mean, you've got just about all the stories. Like
the first season was pretty true to the short stories. Like it was. I remember reading them and being like, wow, this is like episode for episode is each story. It was pretty cool.
That first episode particularly, I was like, this is a hell of an episode to get hooked on. If it stays like this, we got something here. And it didn't quite stay like that.
I definitely agree with you, though, Matt, because, I mean, if you look at the show Walking Dead, for example, I read every single one of those comics, right? And in the very first comic, Carl kills Shane, and Shane does not die in the first episode. You know what I mean?
Shane's the best part of the show. You know, if Shane was still around, you wouldn't have the fucking governor problem, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
right. Little foresight, you guys.
That's what I agree, man. Like you definitely.
Spoiler alert, boys.
Worlds, you know.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. That show from 10 years ago. Anyway, you guys see that episode of MASH? I don't know.
Yeah.
We're spoilers, God. Radar.
But like the Witcher references get thrown around a lot for the character, and it's true. They do have a bit of an influence, but I was really looking for a MacGuffin of some sort for my storytelling. I needed something that can just be whatever. Mm-hmm. So if I'm reaching for this potion, maybe the potion gives me super strength. Maybe the lights go out and I'm a new person. Maybe Hulk Hogan shows up in my place or whatever. You know what I mean? Something. It's just ridiculous. It just needs to be ridiculous so that if Alex Shelley drinks it, he dies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just because like
probably had it coming.
It was incredible. We did that spot where he drank it and
I watched
and died,
that was
and
amazing.
I had to give him CPR, but it was so hot that night for some reason that you could just see poor Alex just chest go. And I was like, it's all right, brother. It's all right, brother. Just relax. Relax. I tried to put his shirt over it to hide that he was obviously alive. So like,
didn't Sammy come out and he's like, did you just kill him? Fix this or something like that.
Yeah, so with all my stuff I'll get back to the Witcher stuff, but with all my stuff with Sammy, we use a lot of improv and last minute ideas. Just because it's like you gotta wait to see how people feel. You can't sometimes you just can't call your shots that far in advance without doing a lot of stuff around the area.
Right.
And so I'm just waiting to hear the crowd, and I'm thinking, hey man, I got this spot in my back pocket. I did it at this show that I run in front of nobody, and it fucking killed. Let me do it to the famous Alex Shelley. And he goes, I guess, I mean, try it out. Do I have to play any more videos? Because I can't make another Keith Lee killed you video. It's like, okay, no, I got it. Just get on the mic and just say something around the lines like, did you just kill Alex Shelley? And then like I'll respond accordingly. And he goes, I don't want to say that. It's like, well then say whatever, Sammy, just react. I killed your hottest act and you're the promoter. And that's what's happening. He goes, okay. And then he comes out and he basically says exactly what he wouldn't say. You just kill him. So it's like, I look back and I was like, no, I didn't kill him. Thinking in my head, you asshole! I thought you were gonna come up with something else. You so I'm thinking about that as Alex is slowly creeping up behind me, getting ready to pin me. 1, 2, 3, kick out! Oh, you won! Oh, damn it! Sammy couldn't say a cooler fucking line. So anyway, the potion's there to use as whatever the show needs. I wrestled a guy who was about 4'9". Cool luchador, does some wild shit, but that night, just to change it up and see how the crowd react, he did the Undertaker's comeback because he drank the potion and started like doing the snake eyes, big boo, choke slam, and all that kind of shit. And I'm jumping my ass off, and the fans are like loving it because this is the guy who's doing the springboards and the million rolls just to get into an arm drag and shit like that. And now he's chucking me all across the ring. And then let's see, I killed a guy one time. Another time, I had the lights go out and I changed into another wrestler for a storyline. The two guys were fighting, so I don't remember their names. Traveling wrestler, And so I took the potion, lights go out, and boom, there's the baby face that's feuding with the other guy. And then I was like, hey, it's an easy night. I'm out. You guys are doing great. Hit those finishers. So yeah, dude,
awesome.
Like I want to, like, obviously I can wrestle. I can do a little bit. Everyone can do a little bit. But I am a trained stage actor, and there's so much just the simple fact that I'm able to do a proper quick change has given me 3 different spots to get over huge at Revolver. I was able to shift into another person. Another person's outfit under the ring in less than 60 seconds. I was able to put contacts and a little bit of makeup and a whole new wardrobe change in less than 2 minutes under the entryway, the little ramp.
Yeah.
And then I was able to shift without any problem into a referee the night I won the title. We did a thing where the referee got bumped and I had not appeared for the match. And then they dragged the referee back in. 1, 2, haha, it's me. And then and then I kicked the guy in the back of the head. 1, 2, 3, I'm the champion. So
that's it's me.
Yeah, because it was beautiful. It was just like I was sitting with my hands here, thinking, please don't notice me, please don't notice me, please don't notice me. And then by the time I hit that 2, and my head was gonna pop up, I looked like a kid that just snuck into a candy store. I was like, it worked, and the crowd's like, fucking got him.
That's amazing.
And once again, I did one move that night and became the inaugural Revolver champion.
There you go. You're good. Yeah, that's what I from everything that I've seen of you, it's definitely, you can wrestle, but man, the entertainment, and because that's what wrestling is. It doesn't all have to be Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada every single match. Like,
we're all the best wrestler in the world if we can wrestle 45 minutes every night. Yeah, if I can show you my whole arsenal, I'm pretty fucking good. But I don't have that time. Like, I gave me 8 minutes to get out here and entertain you. So that's it.
And sometimes that's that's what you need. You need a little, like you said, a variety show of sorts.
Yes.
And okay, we had Kenton Speedball tear the house down at the beginning. Okay, let's cool off, and this is going to be a little entertaining bit, and then, whatever.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys they forget, and I think they get sucked into that. I don't want to say smart mark pose kind of thing, but like they get sucked into the people that really, really love wrestling, and they forget the people that are just getting off their 75-hour shift welding, and they just want to take their fucking kids and their wife to this thing that they don't like but they love, and they're going to sit through and let them drink a beer. You know, and like you don't want 3 hours of the same match. Let me laugh. Give me a reason to go and get another whiskey sour before I have to go start my 6-day work week again. And a lot of guys forget, and I was like, let's do a million falsies in the opener. It's like let's make mom and the kids laugh at the beginning of the show so that dad has an easier time enjoying it. Right. Or vice versa. Like if you notice that like somebody's like our job is to look like stand-up comedians is to look at you guys and try to find something that'll pop you. You're not all my marks, but some of you are specifically here to see me, and I need to make sure you're entertained, you know? And it's just, I don't know. I could sit here and ramble like an old man all day about
it makes a lot of sense, man. It really does. Yeah. I mean, one of the last Revolver shows we were at, I brought my daughter to it. She's 7. And I distinctly remember, so it was SGC versus the Rascals in that trios match that tore the house down. But before it, like SGC came out, and I'm standing there with my daughter, and Mance Warner goes up and gives her the touch piece, whatever. And like that was one of the coolest moments of the night for her. And then she watched 6 guys, Matthew Justice got up on a scaffold, and she's like, if his mother knew he was up there, like just goofy stuff like that. And it just makes for an awesome show. Like you said, you want to, for us, this is kind of an escape, a lot of the time. Yes. And I want to see some really cool wrestling, but also I want to have a good time.
Well, that's the thing. You're going to get to see the really cool wrestling. But it's like Titanic. If the boat's sinking for the entire 3 hours, it's not going to be that exciting. You're going to need them to go and dance around and show the cool stuff for the first hour and a half. Because people don't realize how long it really gets when things start getting the same. Oh, this guy had the same cutoff as this guy. This guy's doing the same powerbomb slingshot move over here. It's like, guys, you don't realize it, but you're not reading the room. You're doing cool shit. You're not reading the room. And you're killing it.
I often make concert references when it comes to like indie shows, and I guess that applies too for, if the headliner band isn't going to bring someone along that's sounds just the same kind of sound as them. They want something, just a little bit different, and again, that the intimate feel we get from indie shows is incredible. We all get to bring our kids and connect with them on something that we universally love, and this whole thing has been nothing but positivity. As much bad stuff is out there and people and their negativity, we've done a pretty good job so far of being able to block that out and just enjoying it for what it is.
Good, because it's you can't fall into that drama because it's never ending, man. It's just a soap opera of people trying to appease other people, filled with a bunch of narcissists and psychopaths. It's like just enjoy the art. Love your families, go home, just relax. There's some people that get online, it's like, da, 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 da. And I'm just like, nah, man, they're killing the whole enjoyment of it. Just escape for a couple hours and then go back to life.
And that's like, I run our Instagram podcast page, and like, I don't really comment on a whole lot of stuff. And when I do, it's usually something sarcastic and funny. Like, I'm pretty sure I commented on one of yours. It was like you, like your head was like sticking out of the water or something like that, and I just said like Geralt could never, like it, because of the famous bathtub photo, just like dumb stuff like that. Because you know what, I don't have the energy or the time to get online and bicker with a bunch of people, especially about a scripted effing show. I really don't.
I so badly wish that Broadway musicals had the same fan base as wrestling. Could you believe Gaston? Guy needs to get on the gas because he looks like shit. Could you know what I mean? Could you imagine?
That'd be amazing.
Maybe they should probably have the Gaston go over on the Beast. Maybe Chevelle should get whatever his fucking name on Les Mis should win. You know what I mean? It's just like, could you imagine?
Don't get me wrong. I definitely, like, on here, I get critical of stuff. I'm not saying that that I don't, because I definitely do. But I try to remind myself of that. Like, I'll just be scrolling through and I'll see something completely goofy about wrestling, and I'm like, you know what? That's what this is all about. You know, like, just you don't have to take it so seriously. You know?
Yeah, man. Like, and I took it too seriously at one point. You know what I mean? Being a performer, that's just like you try to like weigh your value as a human based on your job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just like you're just sitting there just breeding this depression over and over instead of just enjoying the job. You know, it's like you get to be in front of all these people, basically theatering around in the sparkly outfits, just making shit up for their enjoyment, and you're over here going, "Why am I not booked? Am I not big enough? Do I look too much like Kip Sapien? I mean, maybe I am just Ember Moon's husband. You know, it just like
do I look too much like Kip Sapien?" I'm sorry, that popped the shit out of me.
Yeah,
that was amazing. I'm never gonna look at Kip Sabian the same way ever again.
So, like, no shit, like I didn't make that up. That's just like a real like critiques that I get throughout the years. Gabe Sapolsky said I didn't have proper facial expressions. This is years ago,
yeah.
And I didn't. And so it's just constant critiques, but it's there to help you as a performer. But you're getting that on a professional level, and then you go home and you just beat yourself up because somebody on Twitter said something, and you're just like, oh, great. The one thing that I get mentioned on Twitter, it's negative.
Yeah.
Thanks. You know, it's just like, well, I mean, it's whatever. To get thicker skin, right? It's performance, it's wrestling. Somebody, they're paying their $10 to $50 to call you a bitch in the front row, right? Like, that's the job. And it's just like some of these guys, and I was included in that, just they forget that their value as a human being does not correlate with what your job is.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, or how well you're doing it, or how you think you're doing it. It's just, you got to stop that as young performers, otherwise you're lost. Anyway, I just rambled. I'm sorry, guys. What else are we talking about?
Hold on. No one's guest like Gaston.
Like, could you imagine, like, a Chris Masters Gaston, and then 3 months later he comes back, and he's still shredded, but he's a little less puffy, you know? And then like 1,000 tweets. Looking kind of small there. Maybe another dozen eggs in the morning. You know.
Can we? So I know that Cardona just did like Last Match the musical. Can we do more of that? Like just wrestling and Broadway together.
So I've been tasked with this idea from Callahan, and I can't spill too much, but basically it involves a musical. And it has become the most fascinating, horrible idea I have ever heard. And I hope to God one day I can show it to you guys.
Hopefully it's in date.
It'll probably
be in it.
It'll probably be in it. You want to be in it?
Yeah.
Can I be an extra?
Let's see. We're gonna see, because there's like some. Anyway, it's wild ideas.
I'm already excited about it. So I know we were talking about Metroplex, your promotion down there, and Revolver is coming to Texas, making their Texas debut. Is that at your building? Is that correct?
No, that is at the Epic in Grand Prairie. I run out of the MPX Training Center in Bedford, Texas, which is about a 30-minute drive. No big deal.
Okay.
But the Epic is a brand new facility they built just as COVID hit. And so they got a delayed start on grand openings and such. So they're bringing in, the mayor was just dying to bring us in and all this kind of stuff. So they're trying to make a big deal out of this. And we're like, well, Texas, especially North Texas, is a huge open market for somebody to just take. Because I could count 30 plus wrestling shows within the same amount of miles to my show.
Right.
And I was like, don't you guys think that rather than having 30, we could have, one or two, and guys could actually make some real fucking money around here? And we could pack more than a couple hundred people in these little shitty barns. And so you got a show that I would say is on the level of I would say it's on the level of an ROH as far as like a Revolver show. similar atmosphere, similar camera work, I would say, to like the old school ROH, not
right,
like
right.
old school ROH, and like tons of people, beloved characters that are all different. I think if you take that to Texas, especially North Texas, I think you can fill what was lost basically in the '90s when we lost the Sportatorium, where we lost these large venue places. Because when that place went out, you can just see the different splinters of all these small mud show promotions. Now you got a show that's got Macklin, Rich Swann, Alex Shelley,
Trey Miguel. Yeah.
Trey, you got the Rascals, you got me, you got anybody, you got Strickland, you got anybody that is worth a shit on the indies, so that's cool. Is there? You're telling me that is not going to cause a big buzz? It's a prime market for that guy. He could take over the South tomorrow if he chose. Anyway, I think it's the best show around.
See, we drive well over an hour to go see those shows. We don't miss a show when they come to Dayton.
It's so much fun, dude.
Yeah.
It's so much. I'm glad you guys drive an hour. That's awesome to hear as a performer because, like, yeah, you always hear about the wrestler drive. Oh, I drove 6 hours, 12 hours, whatever. It's your job. You chose it. You guys drove an hour to see our show when you could have just stayed home and watched something. I appreciate that, honestly. That's an awesome thing.
It's
there ain't no way
it's the first
Macklin
one.
versus Christ.
Yeah,
What's
Macklin.
that?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's no way we're missing Macklin versus Christ, man. I love Macklin, and we're kind of really fond of Christ. He's been on the show before. I'm pulling for him, man. I want to see him win it.
I love Macklin. I love Macklin. Just having somebody that's that intense. I think he drank 5 Red Bulls before he walked out, and then had some pre-workout. The guy's just intense and insane. But we had a quick little match before he won the title. I had a little spot with him. He basically knocked me out one punch. I showed my ass, and then we did more comedy. And then we go to the back, and he goes, "Dude, I'll wrestle you any fucking time." And I go, "That's awesome. You'll hurt me." Because I think it was 2 months later, he's throwing Swan through a trash can and throwing it. I was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'll stay on the first half of the card, brother. It's fine. You take that title and run."
You don't want your mouth stapled shut?
God. We were in the back watching that match with Swan, and we were just like, "Oh." It's I love you, Richie. Ah.
Yeah, dude. I've watched him do that Tree of Woe spear or whatever you want to call it, and
so cool.
That thing looks gnarly every single time. Every time.
And it looks great.
That I've kind of had to explain this to friends that are less, smart marky and stuff. They're like, are they, they're not actually hitting each other. I mean, I'm like, to an extent,
yes.
You can pull some punches, but there's other stuff you kind of just got to take.
Yeah, that's it. I tell guys, I'm breaking kayfabe. Vince already did it. But I tell them about it's the crescent. I call it the crescent moon. It's you can't punch me basically here, right? Because you'll break a jaw, you'll knock me out, kill me, you'll break my orbital bone, whatever.
Right. If
you punch, or don't mess with my ear, but you punch me just about anywhere else, I can take it. It sucks, and I know you're not swinging full bore, but you can survive it. You get hit somewhere in here, well, the match is getting cut in half because I got a broken jaw. I don't know who I am anymore, so the match length is the least of our worries. You know what I mean? But you can have a 250-pound jacked up dude like Macklin spear you, and how do you prevent that? You do some fucking sit-ups. You know what I mean? It's that's how you do it. You work out. You get trained by building a callus, getting hit. It's how do you take it? He's suck it up and take it. These guys, I don't know. It's. I had a show one time where I was bleeding, and I had a fan touch my blood and sniff it. I don't think they licked it or anything gross like that, but they sniffed it to see if it was real. And I was like, "Where do you? I'm barely dressed. Where do you see the blood packing? Where do you not see the giant hole in my face?" And it's just guys, I don't think you understand. They're too much of a normie, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They think it's all theatrical, and sometimes it's just dudes hitting each other.
Well, I mean, Arn Anderson did it, so I don't know if you saw him bite Luchasaurus's thumb and his blood capsule that he had. That was
that's a little different.
That was so like it was so ridiculous at first, and then it got even more ridiculous, and I was just like, okay, I just have to laugh at this because it's like he like bit it for like 3 seconds, and then like blood is all over Arn Anderson's face, and just
Nothing's to this day though. Nothing is better than Rey Mysterio's fake eye just poking through.
Oh my god!
You remember that?
Oh, the eye for an eye.
She had it as like a little GIF that would pop on our Twitch stream, and I would just crack up every time you'd see this like stupid marshmallow eye or whatever that was poking out.
Bong.
I'm gonna get away with that stuff. Anyway.
I can't believe they did that still.
Didn't they call it like an eye for an eye match or something?
Yeah. Totally legal wrestling. Eye for an eye match.
Like, I mean, I get when they do like the, flash paper and then they like do a makeup to, they got burned or whatever. But like popping an eye out, like what? He's going to wear an eye patch for 2 months and then he'll get it put back in. Like,
he got better. He was at the local medical facility.
Yeah, local medical.
Birth to a hand. And so
that hand grew up. Yeah, obviously, the variety show needs to pull back on some stuff.
Right, yeah, like, okay, well, because, I mean, we've talked about, like, you have to suspend your disbelief a lot, but, like, don't insult my intelligence, because then I can't.
I wonder if Sammy will let me do a spoof of that Mae Young hand.
Oh,
I bet I can get it. I gotta think of it now. I mean, if you guys see like some stupid hand thing go viral and I get canceled for it, it's your guys' fault, not me.
Yes.
So, like,
I'll take credit.
Thanks, dads.
Thanks,
I'm
Dad.
Curious.
So if you are talking to Sammy, I'm trying to speak this into existence. I want him to book Manders and Willow and a Dr. Bomb off on at least one Revolver show. I just want it to happen once.
Manders and Willow and a Dr. Bomb off. Okay. I guess I'll text them now.
Dude, that would be, you're making my night right now.
I'm going to read out loud what I'm texting.
We just want to manifest Willow at a Revolver show.
I really just want Willow at a Revolver show more than anything, but I just feel like Willow versus Manders, and they both Dr. Bomb. I just think it'd be a cool thing to do.
Sammy, here's an idea. ... Willow versus Manders in a Dr. Bomb match. Sorry, I spell like an 80-year-old man.
You can look at your phone like an old man.
Yeah.
Guys, I get hit in the head for a living. What do you want? So I can take the punch I can't see afterwards. That's all.
Cephas has a similar problem. He takes hits to the heads all day, too.
Yeah. Vitamin
I gotta ask. I normally ask our guests if they like video games, but clearly, with The Witcher, you like video games. But I gotta ask, besides The Witcher, what's your go-to series? What's your favorite kind of game, and what do you like to play?
I like to get kind of mindless with my games. Usually, I like to kind of like just have the controller on my belly and just kind of zone out. Right? I think that's most people. But Witcher 3, one of my favorite games. Fallout New Vegas, one of my favorite games ever. Along with Fallout 4, I like it. Not as good as New Vegas. I love playing Crusader Kings 3 on my console. It's slowly adapting to catch up with the PC, but I can't rest with the controller on my belly on a PC. And so I've been playing that just because I'm a crazy person. And I'm going to tell you now, Athena hates this, but it really shows that she loves me. I will go on a tangent for hours. She's sitting on the couch. I'm just playing. It's like, can you believe that I just had a bastard son and I named him the same as my name and I gave him my sword and I sent him off in the world. He's going to go fight Genghis Khan and shit. And she's just sitting there going, shut the fuck. Just want to watch South Park. And I'm just like, yeah, but if I can take over the Byzantine Empire and a little bit of Egypt, I can restore Rome. And so like that's what I'm playing. So
it's mine.
Yeah. It's just like, does the game start over when it's done? Yeah. So it's a pointless game. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I get to make a cool crown, and I get to give it to my daughter, but only men can inherit. Ooh, what's gonna happen?
I just picture her just giving the biggest, like, almost Undertaker level eye roll.
Yeah. I can imagine that, like, in her head, her eyes are rolling, and she's also like, "Well, at least I'll never find another girl." Obviously, that's
like those reels that say, "How do you know your husband won't cheat on you?" And it's like the guys with like the giant Star Wars vaults and shit. Yeah.
Honey, the Holy Roman Empire's Jewish now. You can do that in the game. Yeah. Judaism. You can just convert them all. You gotta set it on easy mode. I'll tell you later. Yeah. So yeah, that's my dumbass. That's what I do in my games.
I love it. I love it so much. So I'm kind of similar with the mindless stuff. Like, I used to play a lot of the competitive, like, PvP stuff, and then I was like, I'm not good at this at all. And it's not good for me mentally. I just need to play by myself, you know?
Yeah, just constantly screaming at another human being that you don't know.
Yeah.
For the record, he's really good at playing with himself.
Yeah, that's can't confirm. Thank you for bringing that one up. Hold on. We have a comment about Crusader Kings 3.
Okay. All right. Don't give me. I just gotta love that RNG. My stepsister tried to seduce me, so I made her my jester, and she tried to seduce me again. Dude, bang your stepsister.
Easy, Joe.
Could you guys you're my sister. Could you guys gift that for me? Just that. Put it out in the world. Let's see what happens in my career then.
We'll clip that for sure.
So to get Athena involved more, she'll like let me start you out hot. So like she'll create my character for me. And this last one, she made a seductress lady in like the small count. Anyway, you're already bored. But I
am riveted right now, sir.
I had the opportunity, once again, you can gift this right here, to have sex with my son. So the game just prompted me with it. Like, no choice from my end. Just like, you gotta do it. You gotta get stressed or not. And I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Needless to say, he didn't like it, and he left my court.
Just so everyone knows, Crusader Kings 3 is on sale for $30 right now. Just saying.
I mean, all you're doing is just selling me this game because this sounds insane and chaotic.
It's nuts. It's so much better on PC. There's there's Game of Thrones mods and shit like that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
But I just can't sit on my couch with my cat purring in my ear and my belly. With the controller on my belly. That's the only way I can play games is with a terrible slouching and Cheetos next to me.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you got to be able to you got that spot in the couch that's sunken in more than everything else. Yeah.
Oh, and when she fluffs the pillows, it pisses me off. I was like, on.
Like the corner.
I worked on this.
Right, the corner of my couch is just like a giant flatland, and then everything else is nice and puffed up.
Yeah, what's impressive thing about my career is this ass mark I've made in the last couple of years, like right here.
She comes home, God damn it, I just beat Willow for the 4th time, the least you could do is fluff the pillows.
I'm tired of wrestling her, and why won't you flip the pillow? Dr. Bob.
Dr. Bob, you want to make an ass print? Here's one.
I had to take this all weekend, your turn. I like she also talks like Sami Callihan. That's how that's like.
Why do we always give our wives the worst voice? Mine has an old trucker. Hey, sweetie,
yeah. Why don't you do the dishes?
Yeah.
It's like barfly. It was just like
married to.
I actually used this the other night, but the Mike Myers SNL coffee talk. Like the woman from Long Island. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm feeling very verklempt. Talk amongst yourselves.
I could never, like, my family is from Buffalo, New York, and I couldn't even come up with the slightest northern accent. It just sounds ridiculous. It sounds like a simple person. It sounds like I'm trying to say it, but I'm just too dumb to realize that that's another southern accent. You know? It's like that's not New York. That's Georgia or something. That's awful.
Mike does a pretty good Boston.
Oh yeah.
Let's hear it.
To be fair, I grew up around my grandmother who's from the area, so it was always Michael, take out the garbage. Michael, why is your cow in the yard?
Oh, so good.
These cookies are hard.
These cookies.
My grandmother quotes were so worse. Like, "Hey, shithead, go take out the trash." Oh, shit. Sorry, Grandma. Give me another cigarette.
My grandmother would never say that. She loved me.
Oh.
What was that like?
Nice.
Oh, cool.
I'd spank you, but I don't think you're really my blood. And then she just dropped me the other room. Grandma?
Oh.
Never liked children.
Yeah. They shouldn't have had 5.
Man, I'm going to have to add one of these.
Oh man, I told you, man, coming into this, like we are not the quote unquote dirt sheets. We could care less about those questions. These are the hard hitting journalistic questions that we're asking right here.
Let's talk about having to bang your stepson in Crusader Kings 3 some more.
Absolutely.
If he is also the king of another nation and you have a child with him, you could, kind of whack him. And then your grandkid becomes the ruler, and then you can claim their title. Boom, you have a war with your grandson, who's also your son, and then rule Byzantine Empire. I've done it, guys. I've done it. That's some wild shit. Anyway,
blowing my mind. Like,
sounds very
enough about that. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So anyway, what have we learned about Monster Hunter? He likes The Witcher, something vague about incest and video games, and then what else? He's married to Athena.
Athena's husband.
Athena's husband. That's right. That guy, weird guy.
Are you sure?
You sure?
People are going to start going up to Athena. So I saw this guy claiming to be your husband on the Dad World Order podcast. Is that true?
Are you guys related?
Oh, shit.
Oh my gosh. Yes. This is
I'll tell you one thing. You have sold me a fucking shirt tonight, man. I'm gonna be have to get me
hell yeah.
And wear it on my gimmick. It'll be cool.
Yeah, so Matthew, if you didn't know, our wrestling T-shirt guy is called that because he has 2 world records now, correct?
Oh, that's awesome.
I hold the world record for going the most consecutive days wearing a pro wrestling T-shirt without a repeat, which is 425 days. And then I also hold the world record for going the most consecutive days just wearing a wrestling T-shirt, and that's at 524 days today.
But that was just the same shirt. That was just the one. That was just the one shirt. That's cool as shit.
Today's Luna.
That's like you get. That's okay. Athena would love that. We love Luna Vachon.
Yeah, I love me some Luna Vachon.
Oh, yeah, Luna doesn't get enough fucking love, man. In that era, gets brushed under the rug because they'll talk about Elizabeth and LaSherry, but no one gives Luna enough credit, man. She was awesome. But dude, that's awesome. You've got 2
your
world
wife
records.
actually on the count. Yeah, I've worn your wife's shirt twice now. Two different of your wife's shirt. So definitely got to get you on the list now.
Yes, yeah, dude, yeah. You got to get the. I think it's right there. The new, totally not ripped off from Scooby Doo, Monster Hunter Matthew Palmer.
I love that logo.
Thank you. That shirt epitomizes me more than any other shirt. I've had the arrive, steal, show, leave. I've had the dumb, here's my name with a cool photo of me on there. But nothing has expressed me more than me running away screaming from guys in lucha outfits and various wrestling gimmicks.
I was going to say, you definitely give gives strong Shaggy vibes for sure.
Oh,
like just Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
And the fact that I am always high does not help you.
Like, man, I just want to eat and play video games.
Right.
I'm not trying to mess with no monsters.
Dude, I'm just chilling in the back with my buddy Swan and just like palming her up. It's like, fuck, what? That's today?
Like Zoink Swan!
Brother, I just Googled you to try to find your shirt real quick, and I seen a news
did you
article.
find another shirt?
I found a news article that I've got to bring up, and the article.
Yeah, go ahead. I know what this one is.
Ember Moon's husband's new T-shirt could be a little racially insensitive. He's released a shirt that says "King of Black Women." What's the story behind?
Yeah, so I knew this would come up, gentlemen. You're laughing now. There's people that are going to give me so. No, I hadn't met Swan at this time. So what had happened?
Oh my God!
You guys have seen Family Guy, right?
Absolutely.
You've
No,
seen.
I
clean. You guys, I don't know if you remember the bit, but there was a bit. I can't remember how we got there.
Exactly
but
what you're talking about.
Peter was going to go into a primarily like African American neighborhood and say the word, and then they cuts to after he says the word, and they put "King of Black People" on a sash. So that subject came up backstage at an Inspire Pro show with my then manager. And so the Me Too movement had kind of started kicking off in the early days of that. And so we told a small little story where I stole this manager from her actual wrestler. I won her in a contract. She doesn't want to be with me. Kind of our little topical thing. It's Austin. The writer is a screenwriter, and he wants to do these kind of Lucha Underground, somewhat realistic stories based on somewhat topical things. That took off like gangbusters. It was great. So one day, the girl that is managing me, Roxy, she's also a stand-up comedian. So we're just riffing back and forth backstage. The Peter Griffin skit comes up. Obviously, every fucking day of our career, we have to hear about, oh, you're married to a black woman. You're married to a white man. Every day. And so I can't comment on it because people get mad about it. But it was just one of those things. We were talking about it. We talked about me having to smack a guy at a gas station in Alabama one time for saying something crass. We got just stupid stuff, and we started joking. So, I digress. That got to the point where we went to the ring, and she was going to improv this long introduction. She had done it for Keith Lee prior, and it was all these grandiose, spectacular things. Keith Lee hung the moon, all this kind of stuff. When it came to me, it was going to be all negative things because I stole her. She was just going to shit on me. She said a line backstage that we laughed at. Oh, that's hilarious. Never say that on the mic. I didn't say that part. I should have said that part. She says, and the king of the black women. And I just kind of stand in the corner. And I was thinking, yes, anding skills. I'm like, that's right. Yeah, you guys are. And she says this, and like, it gets a pop, it gets wild. It's Austin. These guys have basically seen me grow up in front of them. I've been wrestling in that same crowd for like 12 years at that time. They saw me propose to Athena in that ring.
Right.
And so they're kind of, a little bit in on my background in life. But then the owner of Inspire hits me up going, we need to do this. That reaction was gangbusters. Let's do a shirt that's designed off of a Conan comic book cover, blah, 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 blah. And I make the stupid decision to go along with it. I am a fucking theater kid. I want to tell topical real life stories. I think wrestling can be an art form because I see it as a play. And so if I get to tell a story about, a little bit of racism, let's do it. I thought the clear out would be, obviously he's not. He wakes up every day looking at the only person he loves, and that's the skin color that he supposedly has an issue with.
Right.
And we even tweaked it to where it was more of like that Mike Awesome fat chick thriller. Like it was a very niche, over sexualized kind of abusive, kind of like evil. It wasn't like, oh, we should get rid of this certain kind of person, kind of Klansman kind of thing. It was, we tried to give it a small sense of an out. You know what I mean? That kind of like, it's a little bit lighter, that we can kind of realize this ain't fucking real.
Right.
So I basically got away with it. You know what I mean? I was like, we did it. It was all right. Kind of got brushed under the rug. And then one day somebody makes a tweet, and I'm a stupid person. Somebody makes a tweet about buying some of my merch. And that was the only shirt I had at the time. And as a joke, I made a tweet. It was like, well, I don't know. This is what I got available. Not, thinking like this is a stupid thing. It's not in production anymore. We're not selling this. They actually gave me a box to sell live in person, and I hid it under the merch table because I didn't want people to buy it.
Right.
But it's still my fault for agreeing to do this. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have done this angle. It's a stupid. It's honestly the worst thing I did in my career. It really delayed most of my career, but maybe even killed it, to tell you the God's honest truth. It got her a bit of heat as well. And I was contacted by people that do not pay me to tell me to stop. And so eventually, not like there's no legal way to make me stop. It was just do it or,
Hey, fucking quit.
And so it's like, obviously this had never been done, but that's what kind of came about it. There was actually a guy at Revolver who's I think his Twitter handle was something Penguin or Shadow Penguin. He had the shirt at a show. And I said, I will pay you for that shirt and give you one of my shirts. Just give it to me now. And as far as I know, there's 2 that left circulation, like saw them on eBay, like soon after. And then there is somebody who actually, like, I guess has the print somewhere. A buddy of mine printed it off to prank me one day on his stream. He just had this King of Black Women shirt. And it's like, motherfucker. I can't get rid of this. Yeah, it's the dumbest thing I ever did. But, like, I had just got done watching Django. Athena and I had quite a few issues already being an interracial couple. And we thought, why not tell some of these silly stories through this happenstance? I thought I saw it as a good thing. It's like, hey, why not? It's an opportunity. It kind of fell in our laps. Holy shit, should I went running? I should not have gotten anywhere near it. It was terrible. Dumb idea, stupid. Now I wear makeup and I wear 1800s clothing. It's so much better. Anyway, so that's essentially most of the King of the Black Women stuff. It's I can laugh about it now, but there was a part for my life that I was just sitting there going like, guys, I don't actually hate anybody. I'm not really racist. To me, I'm playing DiCaprio and Django. I'm not trying to, but like to some people, it's like, this isn't what you do in wrestling. Just give me the little variety acts. I'm trying to get away from the real life shit that I follow around. So I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I mean, there's heel stuff, and then it's like, do we really need to go that?
It was cheap.
Route?
It was cheap.
Yeah.
It was a terrible idea as a performer to do. I apologize a couple of times on my stream, but it's just, that's life. You fuck up.
Well, for what it's worth, we believe you, buddy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I highly doubt that. I mean, the few times that I have met Athena, that she would be married to someone of that proclivity. So
yeah, that's it's like the only family I really have is her family, and I got a couple members of mine, but really I don't have much of a family, and so all I have is hers. So like that's my family, and so we can joke and stuff like that, and we throw out some lines, and we, for like almost 16 years of being together, they helped raise me, and so I'm just around her family, and so like I forget, I sometimes shouldn't, I just like sometimes like sure. Oh, Matt, this isn't at home, we're not joking around with peepaw, we're just kind of
we're out in the world.
We're out in the world, you dumbass, don't do that. So like,
I could easily see myself getting in trouble like that, something.
It's just
I'm just like that. I'm off the cuff kind of person and would say something, and good thing I don't have a huge following.
Immature kid, just I wasn't even a kid, but just immature performer, just trying to get noticed, trying to take whatever's given at him, and it was
right.
As long as you learn something from it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's only human to make mistakes. It's idiotic to repeat those, so.
Yeah. There was a time that they... Go on.
You're good. I was going to say, I understand the committing to it as a theater kid, though. I did a little bit of theater growing up, and that yes and can get you trapped into things.
Yeah, man, it's just like sometimes you want to explore different emotions when your job is to literally manipulate a mob of people to get different reactions. You guys think we're just going for, or not you guys, but the fans just think like we're just going for yay boo. But like sometimes there's a certain silence that I hear in the crowd that's like, that's what I want. I want that dead, you can hear a pin drop silence. Not because it's boring, but because people are like, Taker just lost.
Everybody gasps at the same time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things like that, like those moments, like they're exceptional. And so like you're trying to chase that, so you hear these different stories and you're just thinking, am I good enough an actor to pull off this? Can I cry on command? Can I do this and this and this? And this, you don't think that like, hey, this is a sensitive subject. You got fellow coworkers here that don't want to go to work seeing that fucking shirt. You know what I mean? You got, you're not thinking. You're thinking about performing. You're not thinking like being a human. So.
Yeah. But so not kind of in the same vein, but how you said like you see wrestling as a play. That's actually when my daughter, I would say just this year, I kind of started explaining to her that, wrestling is not
business.
Yeah. It's a bit scripted, and I explained it to her. I was like, it's like watching a play, because she had just gone and watched a play on a field trip at school. I was like, how they're up there doing all the things, and it all looks real. There's a determined outcome. Like they're still up there doing all the stuff and doing all the moves and everything, but it's there for our entertainment. It's a play, and that I felt like that was a really like I kind of patted myself on the back. I'm like, man, that was a really good way to explain that to a kid.
Nice.
Like she got it immediately. But,
nice. My dad just said, as I was like 2 feet away from the screen, I was thinking I was like 9. Just, that's fake, right? And I turned around, looked at him. My world was just shattered. For a second, I turned right back as Bret Hart's wrestling, going, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like it is. I don't give a shit. It's like
it was Star Wars sick.
Yeah.
Well, it is now official, live on stream. I just caught me a new monster.
Thank you. Thank you. Is that from the MPX one?
Yes, sir. The MPX.
All right. Let me make sure that they send this out to you. I gotta make sure I yell at my employees here. Make them know I'm still in charge.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a sale! Wake up! Wake up!
Wake up! We got one this month. We gotta go.
Heard that.
Dust the cobwebs off. Come on. No, I know I wore that one. Send it anyway. Don't wash it. Don't wash it.
That makes it more expensive for me. So.
We can't afford the gain. Get on.
Charge him an extra $5. It's ring worn.
Yeah, there you go. No, I'm not signing it.
Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for purchasing a shirt. That's awesome. Thank you.
Heck yeah, man.
Become a part of history, dude.
Celebrate wrestling. So,
dude, it's the best. It's the best.
That's why we're all here.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, we've said this countless times. Like, so we mentioned Danhausen earlier. That's actually how. So me and Mike used to work together and became friends that way. And then I was late to a Danhausen signing. It was Danhausen, Ethan Page, and Smart Mark, and Cephas here was in the back of the line, so I was standing right next to him. We met in line to meet Danhausen, and now
nice,
we're really, really good friends and doing a podcast together, and it's wild.
So on behalf of Danhausen, what's his cut on the royalties of the show? What is because he likes the monies. I think he owes you $300.
We'll split it 4 ways with him.
There you go.
Yeah, keep it coming.
Dude, Danhausen's. You mentioned Danhausen. He's the man. I remember
he really
he was just before he had done current Danhausen. He was just Donovan Danhausen, really good indie wrestler, right? And I remember driving like on a 60-hour road trip from Florida to Texas, around Texas, back to Florida, and shit like that. Car breaking down. He's just trying to get his foot in the door of a couple of places, and then a couple years later, he's like the biggest act in the world. Doesn't even have to wrestle. He found the primo job of a pro wrestler. Awesome shtick. Occasionally go in there and bump. Collect your paychecks, have a wonderful life. It's just
that was like my favorite explanation of him when I first like discovered him. Somebody said, "Imagine if Conan O'Brien got possessed by a demon."
Yeah,
and I was like,
the guy can wrestle. He can
also wrestle.
He can do, and then he's like, screw it. I'll just be Conan O'Brien mixed with Elvira and Gru from Despicable Me, and just fucking nailed it.
Little Svengoolie mixed in there, you know.
Yeah, dude, he takes every. He's a genius, the lucky devil. Bitch.
I was actually at the AEW show that he debuted at, where he came out from under the ring during the unsanctioned match with Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy. So that was a pretty cool moment because I was there with a buddy of mine who had no effing clue who Danhausen was, and I'm sitting there like, oh my god, like just popping my ass off, and he's like, "What are you doing? What is it? This guy's got like face paint on or whatever." I was like, "We got a 4-hour ride home. I'll let you. I'll fill you in."
Later.
Yeah. Like this was
what wrestling is, though. It's like, see that character? Yeah. Well, I got like 30 years of backstory. I'll tell you on the way there. He's awesome.
Dude, seriously, a very dear friend of mine has just recently gotten into wrestling, started watching our podcast and everything, and she's like super into it and all this stuff, and like she's like taking notes during shows and stuff, and she's like, "So wait, what does this mean?" And I'm like, I literally need like a month at least to just like, let's go through the Attitude Era, and then we'll go through, after WCW got bought. Because like she sent me a text the other day, like, wait, what's WCW? Because she was listening to another podcast, and I'm just like, oh, I have so much to explain. And then
Fresh Wednesday, that's you, girl.
I was like, what?
We're getting old. I had a student about a year ago because we're trying to teach certain things in wrestling, and I basically had to mimic the Shawn Michaels pose for this thing. So just kind of do like the Shawn Michaels thing, and they's like, "Who?" And I just
hold on, get out now.
Yeah, they're like, "Who's Shawn Michaels?" And I wanted to cry. And I
would too.
I just wanted to sit there. It's like, he's the guy I've been fucking pretending to be for 15. What do you mean you don't know? So it's just, we're getting old, man. Some people are like, what's WCW? One day they're gonna be like, what the hell is WWF?
Yeah,
I never heard of the World Wildlife Fund. What's that? I was like, what's
dude, I like,
who's John Cena?
There was actor? I remember the actor, the governor? like Doc Brown, Ronald Reagan, the actor.
Yeah. President Johnson was a wrestler.
Yeah, President Johnson won the World Heavyweight title.
Oh God, please don't elect him.
Trust me, I'm right there with you, dude.
You guys are. Yeah, they totally are. But please don't. Please don't.
We do not need a celebrity.
Can you imagine if that actually happens? The way it will feel for wrestling fans, because some of us are going to be like, "Yay," and then some of us are going to be like, "What the fuck?"
Could you imagine how abrasive everyone's going to be after like it's decided? Because like you're gonna have people calling their loved ones like who voted whatever the opposite is, and be like, "If you smell," just like, "What the president is," and then just hang up on them. Thanksgiving dinner is gonna be like mad because like WrestleMania 15 had a better main event than 17.
Dude,
fuck you, Terry.
We're gonna have memes for the next 20 years.
Yeah, Steve Austin would whip his ass in the primary. So.
Oh my god.
So who would be his running mate?
I hope to God it's not another celebrity, but if it is, it's got to be Oprah. It's Oprah, right? Actually, Oprah should be president, and Dwayne Johnson should be VP.
It needs to be Ron Simmons.
Celebrity.
It needs to be Ron Simmons.
Damn! He's Secretary of Defense.
He's Secretary of Damn Fence.
Damn.
One of our bases just got blown up overseas. Damn!
Budget's blown.
Nation of domination, fool.
I just saw the time. We have been on for an hour and a half today.
Holy shit. See, that's right there is the sign of a good show because we lose track of time, and I love it.
Take that, Roland. Suck it. How long was he on? Did I beat him? Did I?
I don't know. We'd have to go back and look.
I think it's wasn't his over 2 hours?
Damn it!
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
Check the archives.
Damn it! All right,
I'm checking the archives right now.
Right?
Do it.
Now.
Tell him.
Right.
It was
Tell him I'm going for his record.
But we still like, even though you said discredit being Athena's husband, but it to us.
I don't discredit it. Like it's the greatest thing I've ever done with my life. I love that woman more than anything. It's just I use it as a joke because it's just. I don't know. Maybe some other person would see that going like, God, that's kind of a fucked up thing to say to somebody who's trying to get famous too. And I was like, no, that's fair. That's fair. It's just like she's really good. That's fair. I'm proud of this.
My wife.
Roland was on 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Fuck him. All right.
So here's the thing now.
Question. Come on.
Loop it. Loop me.
I really. Like, now that I know that you have this little rivalry with him, I think that both of you need to come back on.
Yeah.
And we'll just have all 5 of us on here.
Tussle is awesome.
He is.
I met him through Revolver working, but I never got to actually speak with him until one day I walked into Sammy's hotel room with his 38 beds. I don't know how he had so many of these small twin beds in this room where, like, there's Phil Stamper and there's Fulton and there's half the crew there and they're all in there. And Tussle's just sitting there rolling something. I'm not going to tell you what he's rolling. And we enjoyed that out in the balcony. And, like, that dude is hilarious. And he's a visual genius because we sat there and just talked about because he's like, I have this certain angle here with this thing. It looks great for these moves and blah, 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 blah. And I got this camera here. And I'm just sitting there thinking, going like, oh, if I can turn just so for this DDT or if I can sell this spot with Jake over here over the press, we have an idea for me taking the camera with him one day on a big dive where like he'd come with me and all these rounds. He's like an insane like movie director. Usually you get these guys that are just like they just want to sit in the corner and get a show for free, and he's over here like fucking Spielberg trying to.
Well, that's what I always said is just that's how I discovered him is like I can watch a wrestling clip and I immediately know like that's Tussle like that he has his
the clearest camera on the indies.
Well, that too. Like it's like, oh, everybody else is using a cell phone, and then there's Roland with his, movie camera.
Yeah,
and he does some of the coolest stuff ever. You want to talk about a guy that just absolutely cares about his people? Like we love that guy. He's awesome.
Good guy. Some people said some, let's say, sly remarks about a friend of his one time, and that dude, without a friend even being there, just stuck up for him. I noticed it from like across the room, and I was like, that's a good fucking guy right there.
Yep.
That's a good dude.
We actually got to watch him be involved when Fulton picked him up at the last Dayton show and ran him into Crash, and we're sitting there like, put him down!
Yeah. Dude, Crash, man. Crash is another guy I love.
Oh, we love Crash.
I always set my merch next to his, so I get a couple minutes to actually talk to some people while I'm in the merch area instead of having to deal with choreography. And so it's just like, that guy's just a lovable dude, and he's tough as hell. I like what he had like 2nd degree burn from being stuck out in Sammy's brother has this huge farm, and they were riding 4-wheelers all day, and they had no shade, and so this dude had like legit skin peeling off during his bumps in the match, and he's just sitting there smiling, going through it. He's coming in the back having to spray water down aloe vera all over him because there's like no skin, like it's gone. Because the burns were so bad, and he's just like a champ. Didn't miss a beat. Still cut his promo after the match. Didn't flinch. Nothing. As soon as he got to the back, he was, like, help me, for God's sakes, help me. But like the guy's awesome. The guy's really incredibly awesome. Like I hit Fulton. I love Fulton too, and the amount of shape he's gotten in is ridiculous. I can't wait to see Fulton in bigger stages again. Like, he's got a ton of stuff, but that dude needs the spotlight. I like Fulton.
I want to see, like, him versus Lance Archer just murder Hawk off.
Lance Archer, it's funny you mention him. He's my actual original trainer. Lance
Really?
Hoyt.
Oh,
Lance
wow.
Hoyt, 6'7", Lance Hoyt taught this vanilla midget. Just, it's incredible. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. I apologize if I'm not allowed to say that. But like, yeah, he trained me, and then I had a couple other trainers along the way, mentors and stuff like that. But yeah, I always find it hilarious that dude, the murder hawk, going around here killing people, and I was like, hey, he told me how to do a first front roll.
That guy right there.
Yeah, I don't know when that's murdering that guy.
Did you notice that I looked like him when I did it?
Yeah, we got similar movesets. You know? I taught him this one right here.
I taught him the blackout. No big deal.
No, yeah, he used to launch Athena in the air for hip tosses.
Yeah.
I remember that because we both met in the training class, and like he would do shoot hip tosses. Like if he didn't jump, he'd try to launch you out of the ring, just kind of fucking us. And I tried not to jump because I knew he'd launch me out of the ring. Still got me all the way over, like Royal Rumble style. Like, oh shit! So, he's just like belly laughing in the ring and just laughing. Like,
that's awesome.
I love Lance Hoyt. He's a good guy. I like Lance. Psychopath, but a good guy.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's
like
buddies with
lovable
Minoru Suzuki. What can you expect? Like, guy that hangs out with Murder Grandpa. Like,
true. I forgot Murder Grandpa's a line. Yeah,
that's awesome. One of my favorite lines ever. The first time I heard that to describe Minoru Suzuki, I was like, yeah, checks out.
Yeah.
I still can't believe I got to see him in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Story.
Doing his U.S. tour. Yeah.
Yeah, I was super happy.
We were there for the infamous where they cut off his theme song before Kaze ni Nare came on, and the internet exploded.
Oh.
And then they booked him on the very next Dynamite and made sure they played that thing all the way through.
Isn't it amazing the things that'll get over? Like, you got wrestlers risking their lives to entertain you, and the internet explodes because the sound guy didn't fade out the audio. Oh, we gotta get a match on national television. It's like, I just broke an arm doing a 900 splash.
Yeah.
Can I please get my hot dog and handshake?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I feel you, dude. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this up because we have been on here for over an hour and a half. But I'm not gonna say that's a bad thing. We have very much appreciated having you on here. This has been an absolute blast.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. This as soon as Roland was like, dude, reach out to him, I was like, all right, cool. Like, if you say so. This has been great, and we'll definitely have to get you and Roland back on here because I feel like that would just be a super fun show.
Absolutely. We'll talk more about me this time, or that time, not this time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll mention a little bit about myself.
Yeah.
Like, not that one.
My wife's a women's champion. We get it.
Big deal. She can wrestle.
I'm going to need you to do me a favor, though, man. I'm going to need you to fly out to Ohio probably June 16th and just go ahead and be at Revolver. I feel just go ahead and change everything you got going on, and I'll see you there.
Let me write it in my calendar now. I'll tell my own company to go to hell.
Yeah.
I will go to
Saturday in June,
You guys can function on your own.
Screw you guys! I'm not running a switchboard tonight.
That's right.
Yeah. I've been trying to get Sammy to take me back out to Dayton, and he's just like, I don't. It's just like it's like a special thing. I was just like, I don't. Okay, all right. I guess Iowa loves me more.
Got a whole different feel, man. Dayton really is a cool kind of.
Last time I was in Iowa, I pulled my trunks down and showed my bare ass to the crowd before I got in the ring.
See, and we can't do that in Dayton.
That stuff happens at the Iowa shows.
I'm sorry, no, it's not Iowa. Sorry, Dayton. That was Dayton. That was the last time I was there. It was like 2018. I'm gonna say, oh shit, whatever.
Okay,
it was.
Sammy,
it was a long time ago.
Book this man.
Yeah,
Dayton,
we're definitely gonna tell Sammy when we see him.
Yeah, so I can pull my pants down again. Let's do it.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again so much for coming on.
Of course.
This has been more than I could have ever hoped for, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Good, thank you.
Everybody, Pro Wrestling Monster Hunter Matthew Palmer, thank you so much for coming on. I have been Big Rig. He has been Mr. Magnificent. Mike Martin. He has been Wrestling T-Shirt Guy Cephas. We are the DWO Podcast. You can find us on all our socials at DWO_podcast. Matthew, do you have anything you'd like to plug before we sign off?
Yes, if you'd like to watch the show that I put a lot of time and effort into with Metroplex Wrestling, it's on twitch.tv/Metroplex Wrestling. If you want to watch it live, if you ever happen to be in the DFW area, mpxwrestling.com. You can get your tickets. If you want to follow me, you can. I'm not very interesting. It's usually just a bunch of selfies with me doing the same face over and over, but it's at Pro Wrestling Monster Hunter on Instagram, but it has the little underscore in between each word. And then on Twitter, it is PW Monster Hunter.
Okay, right on. Well, I know I can confirm. I follow you on Instagram, and I find your posts. It's very nice to break up the wrestling move, and then like guy in a bathtub going like this.
Yeah,
it definitely breaks up
the guy in the bathtub on your feet. I'm sorry.
Right.
Are you a wrestling fan? If somebody's not looking over your shoulder and you got a bunch of half-naked guys in spandex, like no, they're my friends.
Yeah,
they're
right.
They're my
friends.
No, I wrestle with it. Oh, never mind.
They're not underwear.
No, it's gear. It's very expensive. Yes, that's Jessica Havoc. Yes, don't worry about it. No, she's a friend. All right. I'm sorry, guys. Let's not cutting jokes.
No, this is amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Well, until next time, Top Dads out.